And one of the places that had plenty of eyes in the sky this afternoon was over in Iowa City. That is where we find University of Iowa astronomer and astrophysicist Dr. Greg Howes. Dr. Howes, thank you for joining us today. I wanted to start with your own experience. Were you able to see everything okay?
It was fantastic today. We had beautiful clear skies. A little bit of haze came over at about 2 o'clock, but other than that, it was fabulous. We had about 5,000 people out in front of the old Capitol building at in Iowa City downtown. The University of Iowa Department of Physics and Astronomy hosted an eclipse viewing event. We had about 8 solar telescopes out, all manned by faculty, staff, and students from the university. And we just had nonstop lines of people coming to look and see the fabulous spectacle of an 89% eclipse here, which is really a fantastic bit. It got cool. You could see it get a little bit dim, felt a bit like dusk. At 2:01, just spontaneously a cheer erupted around the crowd, and it was a really electric atmosphere there. And boy, it was just a great time. Heard so many people from the community just coming out. So thankful that we were having that event, that they got to see things. We handed out 2,500 solar eclipse glasses. We were out of those by the first half hour of the event. So it really was spectacular here.
Wow. Was there anything special or different about this eclipse that you noticed?
Well, this eclipse, unlike the eclipse back in August 2017, which was the last partial solar eclipse we saw here in Iowa City, there were a few differences. One of them is that the moon is a little bit closer to the Earth. So the moon is not in a perfect circular orbit around the Earth. It's a little bit of an oval, an elliptical shape. Right now, it's about as close to the Earth as it gets, which means that the shadow that the moon casts on the Earth, that's what gives us the eclipse, is larger. So we get a longer eclipse. The people who are in the path of totality, we weren't in Iowa City, got a full 4 minutes of darkness with about a 120-mile wide spot of the shadow of the moon, which was about twice as long as happened in August 2017.
Wow.
In addition, the other really exciting thing is that we're at solar maximum. The sun actually goes through an 11-year cycle of activity where you get sunspots and solar flares and solar prominences that occur very actively. And we happen to be right now between January and October. It is the solar maximum in 2024. So we had those solar telescopes out on the Pentecrest today here in Iowa City. People got to come in. We saw beautiful solar prominences erupting off of the edges of the sun. We could see sunspots. It was an active time. It was really a fantastic time to see, much different than what we'd seen just 7 years ago.
Wow. Before I let you go, Dr. Howes, we've talked about it here on this show, so I wanted to ask you, were you able to see the Devil Comet during the eclipse?
Well, unfortunately, we weren't here in Iowa City. If you were in a region where you had the total eclipse, it will get dark enough so that you can actually see some of the stars and the brightest stars and planets. You would have been able to see Venus and Jupiter would be just to the upper left of the sun. And in between there was the Devil Comet. But I think that it was probably only visible with binoculars. And the fact that you can see the Devil Comet at night anytime, but the total solar eclipse lasts only about 4 minutes. It's probably worthwhile paying more attention to the sun and that beautiful corona with active prominences and streamers coming off of it, that I'm sure people got a just fabulous view during in the regions of totality.
Wow. Well, Dr. Howes, I cannot thank you enough for your time today and for your wisdom. I mean, this is just fascinating to me.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Shelby. Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. And you guys at home, you can catch up on all of our eclipse coverage on our website at wqad.com.